Okay, I have clicked record, and I have with me on this episode of Silver Linings my friend Denise. And Denise, I don't know if you noticed that I'm wearing yellow this time because we're doing like
Yes.
we're doing a revisit from the last time we spoke on this show, and I really wanted to learn about rewiring your brain to create pathways in which to, I don't know, whatever, just shed false belief systems. And I didn't understand everything at first, but many things have fallen into place. And um and it was no coincidence that you came knocking on my door at the same time that I'm thinking about this stuff, and you came in a completely unrelated reason, but I'm going to kind of just pull that up right now because you hired me for an energy healing session.
Yes.
And you know what? I had Metatron on the Shiny Show talk about what a fantastic healer I was. And then we talked to, the higher selves, Charles, and then we heard a little bit more about what a badass healer I was, but I had to pull that video. So now I'm going to leave it up to you to give me a review right now. How was your session? She wasn't expecting this. I totally throwing her, well, not under the bus, but on the stage to brag about me.
Yeah. Well, I love your healings. I love the swirls, and I do. And I think as a healer, we have to go and get healings done ourselves. And so you came to my mind, and I was like, let me go book a healing with you. And because I was ready for it, and it just felt right. And I just love the work you do. I mean, I really feel your energy, and I feel so good afterwards. And it just, I
Well,
feel like it helped to rebalance me, and I just think we all need to be rejuvenated.
well, thank you. And thank you for that impromptu review that I kind of forced
And you're
upon you.
inexpensive. And you're inexpensive.
It's another way of saying I'm cheap. I'm a bargain. I am a bargain. And
Yeah, no, you're not cheap. You're inexpensive.
there you go. So, she just came to just get like a tune up. She didn't even have any pressing issues. And I love the energy too. I feel it too. So if you guys just want to tune up or something more specific, then you can go ahead and hit me up. And also, I tried to like throw her like a free one. She's like, no, I am worth the money. I'm worth it. But I have such gratitude for Denise for doing these shows with me, just for being my friend. And not too long ago, I owe her a lunch. Actually, my husband does, because she let me have an old phone because mine died. You've just done so much for me. So I'm like, please let me gift this to you. And she said no. So now I put in the coupon code of BOGO. So you've got one waiting for you. Okay, so I wanted to ask, I'm going to start this right. And we already had we already spoke for an hour, so we're kind of caught up with each other for a little bit. But Denise, in case you don't know, she's a badass medium. So if you have some questions, you're going to get a chance to kind of see what she does here if you don't already know. So she's a really good person to not only get a reading from, but a healing herself. And she can do things that I haven't yet learned to do, which is talk about the chakra system and stuff like that. So since I didn't mean to, I just accidentally went in this path. Last time we spoke, my yellow chakra was out of whack, and I still think it is, or this new diet thing I'm about to talk about is messing me up. So I want you to peek in or ask the guides, what's going on with the yellow chakra?
Well, it's real appropriate. And I thought that when we first logged on, it's very appropriate that you're wearing yellow.
Right.
And so, and I just, when I saw you wearing the yellow, and now I know why I didn't say anything, because saving it for when we're on recording.
Right.
So, but the yellow is, it's for you, and I'm not saying this is for everybody when they're doing this, because I don't know about everybody, but for you right now, you wearing this yellow is also empowering that part of you.
Oh.
So you're what they're showing me, and I'm vibrating. I don't know about you, but I'm vibrating. But they're showing me how you are ready for this session. You are ready for what's to be said. And so it's almost like with you wearing that yellow, it's like you're coming in alignment with this stuff. And so it's very powerful for you wearing this color, and it's just so appropriate. It's no mistake. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we might get into that a little bit more, because I I don't understand that stuff, so I'm not even sure which questions to ask. But I do have another question I've been asking them too. And I don't know how how you receive information, so I don't know if you can get this or not. But I finished, certain things in my evolution, and with certain like challenges come specific guides. But I'm on a new challenge now, and that's this rewiring the brain as far as eating and food goes. Do I have a new guide? Are you able to tell if I do?
I don't know if he's new, because I feel like he's with you, like he's been with you.
Okay.
And he feels like like an elder type person. And that's the energy that I feel. He's like an elder type person. I don't feel like so much as he is a guide. I feel like he's like an elder. He's like a teacher for you.
Okay.
And,
yeah. Is he here to help guide me with my intuitive eating?
My team is saying, yes, he can be. Yes, he can be used for that if you choose.
Okay.
For help, yes.
Okay, well, I have been actually asking for a lot of help with this, and I'm going to I described it in the last video, but briefly, I'll tell you again, because you had your own experience in that same message that, we went back and forth a little bit when you asked for that healing. We went back and forth because you were kind of on the same path and investigating the same kind of thing, like letting your inner guidance decide what you're going to eat, because we have become a society in which everything is dictated to us from an external source. We are being controlled. And we talked about this in that last video about how, we're supposed to eat at noon because that's what the TV or the clock or the office or school tells us when we're supposed to eat. We're told what we're supposed to eat. And every single thing we put in our mouth has a judgment, whether it's good or bad. The numbers on the scale, it's good if it goes down, it's bad if it goes up. The size in the, the label in your clothes, if it's down, it's good. If it's up, it's bad. We have small is good, big is bad. And we have all these judgments, and they're so ingrained in us that they have become our truth. So the purpose of this intuitive eating is not necessarily to lose weight, but to become, they call it HAES, healthy at every size. It's to be confident in who you are, in no matter what your skin is. I mean, no, not your skin, but in your skin, no matter what size you are. So I can't help but think that a natural progression of learning how to eat intuitively won't, if you already eat like crap, then a natural progression is to lose weight. Whereas people that have been starving themselves their whole lives, a natural progression might be to put on weight. But Denise, let me tell you the beginning of this diet, what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give into every single craving that's out there and never deny yourself anything. So I have been eating like a crazy motherfucker. You haven't eaten like that since you were a toddler, because even when you make a choice to go on vacation and indulge, you know that when that vacation's over, you got to go back to restrictions. Well, I'm in a place right now where I have decided that I will never, ever, ever diet again. Never. And I have grown, and I am a little bit uncomfortable in my skin, and I feel sick because my brain is, I believe, this is some information I do want from the guides, I believe my brain is being rewired, and right now my system is out of whack because I'll feel sick from eating so much, yet I'll still have cravings and want to eat. I believe that that is part of the process. But what do the guides, I'm just call everybody, whoever wants to answer, the guides have to say about that? Am I on the right path in the way I'm just, feeding every need there is?
Yeah, I'm going to turn on this fan because I'm getting hot. You are on the right path. And you are on the right path. And I just want to say, for people that don't know, I have 3 beings who I call the gods, who I work with, and they've been with me forever. There's 2 males and a female. And the male is the one that I really work with the most. The female just puts her smoothness in and stuff. I work with all of them, but the male one is the one I hear the most. And I see them more in their colors, their energy colors, which is purple and blue, which happens to be my 2 favorite colors from the picture that they wrote on the sidewalk in the original Mary Poppins when they drew the horse. And I love the purple and blue.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is who they are. And they're telling me, they say I get all of them are talking, but they're saying you are on the right path, and you are in a better direction of with this than doing your diets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be dangerous for one's body if you're not showing how what to do when you get off a diet. But then a diet shouldn't even be a diet, it should be a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it's not a way of life, then it's not okay. And they want to say, they're not saying that someone who wants to go on a detox and they lose pounds and then they go back to whatever, that's completely separate. They're wanting to clarify that they're focusing on what you want to talk about rewiring your brain
Okay.
and all this. So they just want that clarification out there. So you are on the, sorry.
Where's Jenna? Just kidding.
It was. It was. But the only thing is they're saying good to get comfortable with that, just eating whatever it is you want and stuff, and not thinking about it. But
yeah,
one of the reasons why you still want more, like even though you're so stuffed, but your body's craving for more, is because what you are eating isn't authentically food. It's food
feelings.
It's food-like products is what you're putting into your body. And then, and then the food that you gravitate to is you're eating because you're wanting to make something feel better, or you want to fill something up so you can feel better. So let's just say you stubbed your toe real bad and it hurts and stuff, whatever, and nobody came to help you and you had to fix it yourself. Well, then that triggers something about way back when or whatever. And instead of going, wow, what did that trigger this, or whatever, it's like, let me go get a big bowl of ice cream because that will make me feel better. Because maybe they're saying, because maybe that's what was given to you when you were younger, or whenever food was given to you. Let's give you this to feel better or whatever. So this is where what we eat tends to put on weight and tends to make us feel worse and wants us to crave more, because what we're feeding our body is like, what the heck is all of this stuff? And so then our body doesn't break it down and metabolize it in the manner it should be. So I know I've had people tell me, bananas have a lot of sugar. And I'd say, well, I didn't get a big ass eating bananas. And it's the truth. I didn't.
Yes.
So, so your body metabolizes things when you're eating also consciously. Like, why are you wanting to eat to nourish your body? Or are you just wanting to eat to, and a lot of the reasons why we eat some of this food-like products, they're telling me, is because whoever manufactures these foods knows that it's going to set up a craving for us. Like if you drink Diet Coke, I used to suck down 12 Diet Cokes a day because I could never get enough. And I asked the Coca-Cola guy, what do you put in that, crack?
Cocaine.
Because, and he said, well, we have to do something to keep my 401k going. And so it's set up, believe it or not, it's set up to make us not ever feel fulfilled. So we want more and more and more. So they're saying, so the next time you're hungry or you just want a treat, go make a peanut butter sandwich or an almond butter sandwich and put honey on it instead of jelly and stuff, and eat that. Or just go for something like, oh, this would be good. Like, will this satisfy me in the same way as if I eat ice cream with peanut butter on it, and start really checking in with yourself what it is you're wanting. Because a lot of this stuff is, like you say, is programmed. Because you watch TV, they're showing me, and these commercials, they know exactly how to do it. They're showing me, like when you go to the movies and their Coca-Cola is up there, and how they're splashing the Coke and putting it on ice.
Right.
And
They make it all pretty. Right.
mm-hmm.
Well,
And so then you want it. Then
let me
you
ask, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Ask this because this is what I understand. The reasons why why I am just feeding right now is that every time I feel like I have a craving, I'm supposed to honor that craving so that my brain will not feel restricted. So that eventually, when I keep feeding my craving, whatever it is, I will grow to a comfort level that says you do not have to be restricted from this. You can have as much as you want. And once you finally rewire that, you don't feel the need to binge on it because, you know, when I actually truly want this, it'll be there. And I don't have to eat the whole thing because I can just eat enough to satisfy me now. And I can have some more tomorrow if I choose to. So I feel the way I'm understanding this rewiring is to go ahead and allow yourself to have everything for a while. Eventually you will, and I've seen this happen already because when I'm binging on things that are forbidden for me. And then the next day I'm like, I don't want that anymore. I had my fill. And I know I can go to the store and buy it again if I want to. So because of this understanding, I'm craving it less. And it says, I'm reading all these websites and stuff. It says it takes anywhere from a couple months to a couple years to get to the next phase, which is starting to tune in to when you start to feel full, or tuning into when you start to feel hungry and not eating for any other reason. However, if you do eat for another reason, like that cake looks pretty, be mindful of that too and allow yourself to have that. Just don't go nuts. So I kind of feel like I might be a little bit ahead of the game only because I understand how healing and surrender works. Because I'm reading these people in these support groups and I'm not beating them up, but they have a lot of, clearly some inner work to do.
Well, what they're telling me is, you are absolutely correct about when you just eat whatever it is you want and you're rewiring because you're going against everything that you're being that you were taught or told. And but they said be careful though when you're doing that. They're saying not to shame yourself and beat yourself up and trash talk yourself. They're telling me that is really unhealthy for you to start trash talking yourself.
I think that's the whole point of this, is to avoid the trash talking. Because every time I eat something forbidden, I say, you're not doing a bad thing. You're creating new pathways. You go ahead and you have that because you don't have to be in a place of denial anymore.
Correct. And it is that trash talking comes from advertisement and unhealthy ideas of how we're supposed to be. Because we're supposed to look like, I was just telling somebody this, like this Barbie doll, and I've seen some people. I think we all have some people that are like, you see them on the news blurb or something on Yahoo or whatever. These people that have had all these surgeries because they want to look like Barbie, and they look horrid. They're scary looking, and they spent $500,000 trying to look like something that isn't even real.
That isn't even them. And we have to fit into that standard. And I want to break that standard. We're all different. Why do we all have to be this size? Right.
Well, and also I loved what they're just telling me. They're saying what you're doing and what you're like deprogramming. It's like when somebody, and I've been guilty of this, when somebody is eating something that you don't like and you go, ugh, you eat that? And it could be, because I know I get kind of grossed out when I see people eating something on a bone, and I'm just like, ugh, like, how do you eat that? And I've learned over the years, because I've gotten older and realized you don't do that when people are eating. But that they're telling me that is no different than people telling you what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. And so because the same effects go in, because it's shaming, it's damaging,
it's good or bad. You know, there's always a judgment.
Yes.
And it's on yourself. And I can't tell you, now that I've become aware of it, how many commercials are on TV, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Atkins, keto, all this stuff. It's like everything out there that's quote healthy is a restriction. And we are on a path of independence and letting go of external controls. So it just seems reasonable that we would learn how to eat with our intuition, just like everything else. Stop telling me what to do.
Well, they're saying that's how we used to eat, is through our intuition.
Exactly.
And so, and I'm not going to say his name, but anybody could look him up, about this guy who lost over 120 pounds or 30 pounds or even more than that. And he didn't do it through diet. And what he did was he found it through meditation.
I looked at him a little bit.
And and he has a 21-day thing where you spend 10 minutes every day doing this meditation. And another guy lost 140 pounds doing it, and he did the meditation at night. Mm-hmm. And I paid for that subscription, which is extremely inexpensive. I think it was like $40. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing how busy I say I am. And I've had it for like a month now.
Come on, girl. I jumped right in this. I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this honeymoon phase. But I am sick all the time.
See, and I'm not there, because I'm like, oh, I should, how many calories? Like,
I know.
Rhonda bought she goes, oh, I thought you were going to go into session at 5. I would have got you a smoothie. And then what did I say? How many calories is that? And then she looked up and I said, yeah, I couldn't do that.
I have a feeling that's one of the reasons that Fairy Girl made me not have a math brain, was so that I wouldn't ever count calories. That's another, I have to associate food with math, and that's not a good association either. I want to be completely free of all of the rules of food and just go by the gut. And the guides told me that. They said that you're going to do like an old fad diet an old diet that's made a comeback. And I was thinking paleo, because that made, the dinosaur diet, but that has rules too.
It does have rules.
So the old way of eating that's making a comeback is this intuitive eating, because they said you're going to know exactly what to eat. You're going to know exactly.
Yeah. And they're telling me, because when you're in tune with that, you're feeding your body exactly what it's needing at that moment or for that day. And we say, they're saying, eat how the medical people say, profession or whatever you want to call it, it says how you're supposed to eat when you're diabetic, they're telling me is completely wrong. That is not how you should eat.
I'm specifically curious about diabetes. I have a special friend that's diabetic, and I have just like, so I don't want to, talk, but somebody that has a friend of yours, or I don't know, a relative or somebody that has the PCOS, and that is similar to diabetes in that the insulin resistance thing. So you have to almost have the same diet. So I was curious, what do they say about that?
Well,
and intuitive eating.
When you say that, they're saying there's some emotional stuff that goes on with the PCOS, is what they're showing me. So look for the foods that nurture that.
Okay.
And incorporate those into your diet. Okay. They're not saying restrict anything else, but bring, and I don't know why they're showing me like, they're showing me like vegetables that are a root, like beets. Or like, I don't know why they keep showing me sweet potatoes, but incorporate that into your diet. And they're not saying to not eat that other stuff, but they're saying incorporate that in there, like look for the foods that heal this stuff, and they're saying what you're doing when you're rewiring stuff, and as you're doing this, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get to a place where you're eating to nurture your inside, which is allowing everything else to come up and to heal.
Okay.
And when it heals, it's not going to be like you're vomiting chunks at a time. You know how you've done that with healing and you get chunks.
Yes.
And what's going to happen is things are not, it's just, they're showing me you're just going to go, oh, toot, and spit it out. And it'll be much more gentler. Because they're saying when you really eat intuitively, it just allows things to come up freer. And now you're not having this struggle of, well, I can't, I just know I'm going to end up eating. And so I really have to watch it, because when I get into this state, I always want to go to the ice cream and cookies, and I can't do that, and it's, so you're not going to have that battle too, because they're showing me how a lot of that is intertwined. And I can see where that's intertwined. I remember we were not allowed to have cookies and stuff like that when I was growing up in the house. My mother just wasn't that kind. She's a very health fanatic. We had a rainbow of vegetables on our plate every night, and everything was fresh, nothing fried and all this and that. And I remember when we would have cookies, she would, or my dad would bring home these Danishes, she would trash talk them and say they were nothing made with lard. And so what did I do when I moved out? When I get
ate them all.
When I got pissed off at somebody, I'd go buy a pack of cookies and eat the whole thing because I could.
Yes. Yep. Feeding that inner child.
So, and I have, and they're just saying that, yes, but it says, but they're saying there is that catch about the restrictions and stuff like that, but but they're saying it's almost like when you walk into the camera, they're showing into the kitchen, right before when you go for the cabinet or you go on the door, they're showing me the cabinet. Ask yourself, what is it that I'm really wanting right now? Because sometimes you'll find out what you're really wanting is not behind that cabinet.
Right. I'm sure that's true. I am a boredom eater, that's for sure.
Well, I do too. I mean, nothing changed for me with this COVID stuff.
I know. We just had more opportunities to snack.
And then next thing I knew, I was grazing for a month. And I was like, what the shit? I mean, nothing's changed. I've always worked from home. Nothing's changed. And I'm grazing.
Yeah, you got no excuse.
I know, I'm grazing. And I'm just like, oh my God, you've got to stop.
But that's a good example of when you feel like you can't have it, or because, you can't, the stores are closed. We're going to run out. We better go buy it all. It's the end of the world. That's
I wasn't so much afraid. It was that darn toilet paper, because I have a thing about toilet paper. And I was like, who in the world thought I was going to have to work through that? But, I know. I'm over it now, though. I know there will always be another role from
There's always another role somewhere. You're fine. Lesson learned.
Yeah. But they also say that we get caught up in other people's energy.
And
then we find ourselves in that, and it's and they're just saying what you're doing is good because it's teaching you to always go back into you. And that is one of the things that's been your hardest, is always staying in tune with you.
I have really given my power. Yeah.
You do. They're telling me you give your power away a lot, or to kind of keep peace, you will kind of do that. And then, well, how does Carrie reward herself?
Candy.
And so this is something that's quiet, and she's not interrupting anybody, and
that's
she's
true. It's a solitary,
so this is what she can do. So you're finding your comfort, your hugs and kisses and entertainment and everything within that. And so they're just saying, so you're learning about, it's teaching you to go within, because they're telling me there's a part of you that is like, okay, I'm ready to get into that inner part, to where I kind of stopped going into the kitchen and
Yes, I really want to. Do they have do guides? Do you have like a nudge or a direction to go in? I really want to like get going on this. I'm excited for it rather than dread inner work. I'm excited to
Yeah.
conquer this.
There, you know, are you a fruit eater?
Fruit? I love fruit. I eat a lot of fruit.
Okay, because they're saying like keep grapes in the refrigerator or something
Okay.
because they're sweet. They're saying, and I don't know about you, but we pluck all of our grapes and rinse them, and then we put them in the bowl so they're easily can be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying, when you're wanting to go and get whatever, they're saying go get a few grapes,
Okay.
and then but they say you like salty food too. Is that true?
Of course. Saltines.
Because they're saying, like maybe put some almonds or saltine crackers, saltine crackers and grapes and eat that together.
Okay.
And then go do something they're saying that you've been putting off that's for you. Like if it's you want to rearrange your panty drawer, or you've wanted to go paint your toes, or just something that's just for you.
Okay.
Or you've been wanting to explore on how to put on your makeup. Just go do something for you, because they're saying and this goes for everybody, what we're really wanting is something to be nurtured inside of us.
Okay. Am I to like associate these couple of grapes and cracker with doing something nice for myself? Are these two things connected, or is the goal to like ditch the grapes and the crackers and just go do the pedicure? Or am I supposed to make them match somehow?
You don't have to ditch it. It's just what it does is it you're not ignoring, let me go get something to snack on or whatever, but you're reaching for something that how they're showing me, it's like your body's gonna welcome it and absorb it and process it.
Okay.
And like it's filtering through all your body parts, and your body is able to receive it with open arms. Because when we put donuts in our body, our body doesn't welcome it in open arms, because of what's a lot of times it's what the ingredients are in it, and it's a little bit of thought that's going in there. So when you put the saltines and the grapes and you put that in, it's kind of, just notice how lighter you feel when you're eating that. And then go do something like go repaint your toes or something like that. And then they're saying, after it's done and stuff, they're saying, and if you're still thinking about having that chocolate, they say, then go get it.
Yeah, I had a chocolate bar from my boy. We were going to do s'mores in July for Josh's birthday. I had so much crap, we never even wanted to get into it. So that candy bar sat in my refrigerator for a couple months. And then so this new intuitive eating thing came up, and I said, I'm going to get into that chocolate. And at first I wanted like the whole bar, but I didn't eat the whole bar. Anyway, my portions got smaller and smaller because I didn't need it as much, but I honored that. And it just kind of tapered off. I don't know.
Yes. And they're also saying, it's funny when they were replaying. I know years ago, there was a smoking clinic that had people smoke one cigarette right after another. And you did this like for a week or two, they're showing me, and then they had you taper down on the cigarettes, because then they had you do this so that come the last day, you would be so sick of smoking that you would just be ready to get rid of it because you just didn't want it anymore. And I'm like, oh, and I don't know if it was a successful thing or not, but they also are telling me that when they were telling me, and then I lost track of what they were saying, and it had something to do with that candy about they were telling me it's something to do with that chocolate, and when you were eating it and how you didn't want it anymore. And they're saying, I'm like trying to listen and think, what did you say? I'm like,
Can you repeat yourself, guys?
I know. I'm like, what the flip? And when they're saying part of reprogramming is even though when you are here, and this is why it takes a process, because even though you're giving those saying like, I'm just rewiring and stuff like that, there's still this tinge behind you. And you're looking to see how other people are going to say something or look at you.
That's true.
When you're eating it. So it's a matter of being able to walk in there comfortably.
I have like another kind of issue with that. And that is I've scheduled a doctor's appointment, and I'm going to flat out straight up say, don't tell me what my weight is. I don't want to know. I'm trying something new. And if she wants to hear it, I'll tell her, but if not, but I still feel like, a possibility is that I get a doctor that does not agree with or think that my plan is a good idea and tries to, tell me, no, don't do that. And so I'm already feeling like I will be judged by somebody who, knows better, that I'm doing the wrong thing. But I don't care. She can say it all she wants, but I still am kind of faced with that.
Well, yes. And they're saying, just say, yeah, I'm working on it. You don't have to go into detail. I'm working on it.
Right. And I feel kind of fortunate it's like a double-edged thing, I guess, or bittersweet thing, and that I'm glad to be able to tell my story and explain why I'm expanding. I don't mean my awareness, I mean my body. Because I feel so passionate about this. I really do, that part of me just doesn't even care what I look like. Because I base that on other people. Because if I haven't looked at the scale, and if my pants didn't get tighter on me, I really would not know that I had put on weight. And I kind of compared it in my mind as like, and I don't think you're the kind of girl that goes camping, but just pretend like you were.
Oh, okay. I will pretend.
When you go camping, it doesn't matter even if you take a shower in the campground shower, you're still dirty. And you come home from camping and you're just covered in dirt and grime. But you don't judge yourself, because you're still the same person underneath that dirt and grime. Now, it's a whole lot easier to take a shower and wash that off than it is to lose the weight. But ultimately, you're still that same person underneath the stuff that's, stuck on you. So I'm really trying. It's more important to me to feel better about how I look or how I feel, no matter how I look, than it is to actually lose that weight. That's what I really want to teach here, is it's body image. Whatever happens next, just accept it. Accept yourself for who you are. And that's what I really want to do. And I believe that that's the path I'm on. Can you guys want to give me a little validation on that? Not so much for me, but maybe for the other people that need inspiration.
Well, you are. And they're saying that what you're doing is no different than the way our society and everything looks about aging.
Yes.
How many plastic surgeons are there out there?
Going to be next.
And it's like, because, and even I say I need a neck lift, I got to have a neck lift or something, because I see, and it's like, oh no, I can't have the neck that I have.
The TV ruined us. We have to look like all those pretty girls.
And it's like that, and it's the same thing. It's like being comfortable with how you look and how you are, just you being you. And not thinking you need all this outer stuff. And and it's by you doing, they're saying, by doing the intuitive eating and getting and shedding all that fake stuff.
Yes.
It is empowering, and not everybody can go that route. And I have to admit, I can't allow myself to just eat whatever I want.
It was hard at first. I was like, am I really going to do this?
Yeah, I'm just not there. And thankfully, I can't eat sugar and stuff like that like I would love to, because one, it affects my sugar level because I'm the opposite of a diabetic, and I can't channel very well when I eat sugar.
See, this intuitive eating says that if your restrictions have something to do with channeling, it's not about dieting. It's not about shame and guilt. So your restrictions are legit. they're not
Yes.
sabotaging. So that's something that I wanted to point out too. So
Yeah, and I had what was it, a almond butter sandwich, I don't know, a few weeks ago. That's the first time I had bread in forever. And girl, I love that sandwich. Oh my
how
God.
did you feel afterwards? Like
I
your
was like,
mood, your body, and your brain?
I just felt good with that bread, the texture, touching
Good.
the roof of my mouth and lips. And I was just like, oh my God. And I had one that night for dinner, the next day for breakfast. And then, but, and then when I got on the scale, I was like, oh, you can't do that no more. But then that's when I started, looking into that other person about the
Yes.
meditation and doing that, because what my guides, what my team is telling me is that it's okay to say, I can't touch that stove because it's hot.
Right.
Or you don't drive when you've been drinking,
Uh-huh.
Alcohol.
Right.
And stuff like that. You don't go rob a bank because you go to prison and it's not right. That kind of stuff is okay. But when you start restricting yourself, they're telling me, and saying, no, I can't have this. No, I can only eat this, or can't have 10, or I can only have 2, or whatever, or I can only eat this today because next Friday I'm going out to eat, or what. They're saying that right there is telling your brain that never forgets, and your body never forgets either. They're telling me these little cells within us that we don't even think about, or some of us don't even know about, they don't forget that. They just get repressed. And then they come up again, and the next thing you know, you're eating the whole gallon of ice cream instead of when you would just eat a bowl, like what you're doing, what you're talking about. So these cells in us, they're telling us they're of an entity of their own as well too. They have all these little minds. And so and it's kind of like our feelings, when we suppress them, and then you watch a sad story, and then
you blow up.
Yeah, and you're blowing your eyeballs out, crying. So and they're just telling me how they're saying just go with it, and I have to say, when you talked about the lunch thing, when I noticed that one day about
it's your story. When I listened earlier, you're the one that mentioned noon, and you're like, I'm not hungry now.
And I don't eat at noon anymore. I just thought that was the most craziest thing, that
I know.
Everybody goes to lunch at noon.
We're all programmed genetically to want to eat at noon, no matter what time zone we're in. It's nonsense.
And that you have to eat breakfast, and you have to eat this.
And breakfast is eggs. It's not a tuna sandwich, it's eggs. Who makes these rules up? Who's the one that told us that we have to eat these things at this time? I want to be done with that. I want to be free of all external controls.
I'll tell you what I had for breakfast this morning. I had an enchilada.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had
with
those
with a slice of pizza. And the enchilada I had, because I don't eat meat, I cooked. There's this ground, it's not meat, it's plant-based food, it's not soy. And I don't eat soy. I don't eat as much because I love soy, but it affects my hormones. So I don't eat that. But so I found this plant-based, like ground meat, and I made enchiladas out of it, and it was so good. So and the pizza I get, it's not like from Pizza Hut or nothing. It's really from California Kitchen or something like that. And I ate a slice of that because I didn't want it to go to waste. And then I ate my enchilada. And, I didn't get hungry at noon.
Right.
I started getting hungry like around 2:30 or 3.
I'm still trying to find that compass because I'm so full all the time from all the gorging I've been doing right now. I'll find it though.
You are going to find it.
I
and
will.
They're saying
you can't live like this forever. Okay, go on. Sorry.
And they're saying, and I've heard, and they're telling me, and I've heard that we are born naturally with this thermometer that says you're full, and when you've eaten past that, then it's gone forever. And they're telling me that that's BS. You can get that back again. It's just a matter of you intuitively connecting with your inner body. And they're saying, and that's really they're saying what's really going on is you're learning how to connect with Carrie, with staying
Yes.
inside, instead of connecting to everybody else. And they said the majority of us are connected to everybody else because people are doing things because everybody else is doing it. You know, it's just nuts. And we do that. They're telling me we do that with everything. We do that with fashion.
Yes, absolutely. It's crazy the fashions out there. I can't, it takes me so long to catch up to like home fashion and clothes fashion. I'm always like 2 or 3 years behind. So I got that going for me. But I also feel like that this one thing, just the food thing and learning how to navigate this and rewire and, not be influenced by external sources, even though I'm kind of focused on the weight part, I feel like this will like carry over into so many different areas because I will learn to not have that. Who gives a fuck? I don't care what you think, say, believe, advertise, whatever. I have a question, Denise. This is like all of this is kind of personal, but this one's extra personal. I mean, I want my messages to be relevant for whoever watches this, but this one will only be relevant if they've been following along with my story. And that I'm in these twinny things. I got, my Michael over in, Belgium, and I got my fairy boy that's overseas too. Well, I came to this place of kind of not wanting to have a romance with Michael anymore, which is part of the twin thing. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I've been like set free of that one. I have not, however, been set free of the other one. And I'm wondering, what is the reason for that? I'm wondering if it's inner, do I have more inner work through him? And if so, is it have anything to do with my self-image, my body image? Am I like using him as like a reference to see if I'm still insecure? I don't know.
Well, they're saying you haven't had enough yet. They're saying of whatever it is.
God damn it.
And there's a part of him why you're still hanging on, because when you let go of that, then some other stuff will come up. And they say just, that will come in time. And I just feel like that also is a part of with you doing this rewiring your food and thought process, that will also help let go of that, because even though you're working through the rewiring of food, all of that is also attached to so many other things.
Yeah. Okay.
Because why do we want to eat certain things? Because we see it on TV, we associate it with something. It's, everybody, not everybody, because I don't, but a lot of people, it's a big thing here in the US. Everybody goes and gets turkey for Thanksgiving.
You go to Mexico for more meatless enchiladas.
I can't even stand the damn shit, that other stuff. But everybody does that, and everybody
indulges
cooks in a huge dinner. And I think to myself, why are they doing this? Is it because I don't think 8 out of 10 people like doing it.
Mm-mm.
But this is what we're told to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Thanksgiving.
Right. More external control telling us what to do. I love that you broke away from that.
Well, me too. I can't even stand Thanksgiving. I do give thanks, but not in the way that...
You don't overindulge in tryptophan turkey.
Well, I can't even stand this stuff. I can't even stand all that. Well, I just look at it like, what is that about, really? And I don't know. And it's like, and they're telling me this is about us also, and this is such perfect timing for you at this, because even though this pandemic that's going on, it is ruffling up a lot of stuff for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And, and this is perfect time for you, because you're right in the mix with everyone else, looking at their stuff, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about us taking back our own power. Whether we want to believe it or not, we have been so programmed to do things so many different ways that we don't even think about it. You know, we just do it because that's what they say to do.
The food really surprised me too, because I mean, look at how much, like I said about those commercials, how much of it is presented to us in that it's something we should do because it's good for us. So we don't even feel like we're being controlled because it sounds like it's help. Sounds like it's help. And that, yeah, it sounds like love and help, which is, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of shedding from narcissistic manipulations and control and all that stuff. So this has a sense of that too. We've been manipulated into thinking this is good for you or whatever it is. No, listening to yourself is what's good for you.
And we don't ask either, what is this? We just absorb. And they're telling me that is no different than the bells and whistles we hear when we're in a casino gambling. That thing is done to keep us there.
Exactly.
I'm wondering if people tap their foot to it or something. It's a reason why it jingles the way it does. And
I paid attention to that. It's usually the slots that are on the end of the row. It's usually around evening time when people are starting to drink. You know, I hear when those bells and whistles start going off more frequently than other times. They know.
Yeah. And it's all the same thing. It's to keep us there. And it's like, I see this as a huge thing for you. I mean,
I feel so passionate. Ask the guides, is this something that I will like, because, you know, my twin stuff is such a narrow field, but everybody wants to learn about eating. Whether you jump on board with this or not, it'll still be food for thought. But I feel like I want to teach this. Is this something, besides this episode, does this feel like something that I will like glom onto in any way?
They're saying it's definitely possible if you stay on this course and stays passionate with this. Absolutely, because they're saying that the weight loss industry, the diets and that's $1 billion industry, and evidently it's not a successful thing because they're still popping up with new stuff all the time.
There you go.
So that right there is letting you know it's not successful. So let's go do something a little bit more drastic. Let's start offering these surgeries for weight loss. I know someone, I don't know a few people, but someone personally who was my boss that was like about 100 and something pounds overweight, who had the weight loss surgery, but gained even more back.
I know somebody like that too.
So it's just, you know, it's the same wiring.
You got to change this. Yes. So, yeah.
And it's not, and it's really, when they're telling me the rewiring, it's how we feel about things, how we feel about what it is we're doing. And, you know, if we feel like we're not going to have enough, then we want to eat more. Or if we feel abandoned, then we're going to want something that comforts us. And they're saying for you, and they're saying this goes for everyone, pay attention to the mood you're in when you're putting the food in your mouth. Don't grade yourself or anything like that.
Just become aware.
Just become aware.
Okay.
Because when you have an awareness, then you're able to move. Do you have a cat?
Yes.
Oh, I hear her or him.
You hear my kids or something. I don't know. Maybe you do hear the cat.
I do. Meow.
She has a horrible meow. She just wants to go outside, but she sounds like she's dying. Ignore her. She's fine.
No, I didn't know you had a cat, but they're saying just like pay attention to that, and they're saying and when you're, so let's just say you want the chocolate and the ice cream and you want a brownie to go in, they say go with that, but just really while you're eating in it, really go into what it is, how you're feeling, and really the way they're showing me, it's like really get into that emotion of what it is. And talk to her. They're telling me to tell you, talk to her and see what really is going on and why you're eating, because sometimes we just want to be heard, and and we want someone to listen to us, and we want to be nurtured. And when you talk to her,
which her? You mean inside
you,
me? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
and they keep referring it to her, and I guess because
It's okay. I understand.
you're feminine, and that's who's going on. That's the one that's going on.
Yes.
And they're saying that when you talk to her and stuff, you're acknowledging her. The inner you is acknowledging her. You're nurturing her, and you're saying, I hear you.
Okay. Oh, that's
So
sweet.
I'm saying, so what happens if you don't want to put down the bowl of ice cream because you don't want to waste it? And then there's, because that's my fault.
I eat everybody's plate. We'll be out to dinner. I'll eat Elisa's salmon off her salad. I eat everybody's. And I don't know if I'm like, if this is past life issues or what the fuck, but I cannot waste food. I got to eat it all.
Well, you know where I found out mine's coming from?
What?
Is my mother.
Clean your plate?
Well, no, my mother would just eat everybody's stuff because she didn't want it to go to waste. And I find myself doing that. And but I have to remember, I read something, this probably 30 years ago, from Weight Watchers, and it said, don't make yourself the garbage disposal.
I am the garbage. Well, I have my husband too, so I could pawn it off on him. But when he's not there, I have to.
So, but like I ate that pizza today because I didn't want it to go to waste. But I do that with broccoli and the other vegetables that Rhonda has cooked ahead of time. I'm putting that in there too. The other day I had 2 cauliflower and broccoli tacos, and because I didn't want it to go to waste, But they're saying, they're saying eat it then, but just keep into that other part of you, and then carry that out. And they're saying, because you do well with writing, they're saying write it out afterwards.
Okay. Good luck with that. I'm very
You write. You do though. You write very well.
I do. I write, but I write to like give it to other people, but just for like a personal journal.
They're saying keep a journal about all of this. Buy a book, another book, and write about this, because they're saying this could go into your teaching this.
Oh, okay.
And this also, can go into a book about how you went from being 115 pounds when you were younger to whatever weight you became, and how you lost, and then back up, and then how you just went completely all the way down and got to a weight that you had to weigh yourself at the time of the book so you would know what to put your weight in. Because
is that what they're saying?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm going to ask an ego question then.
Because you don't have to weigh yourself anymore.
I'm not going to weigh myself. I'm done with those numbers. But, I'm reluctant to ask this question because it's such an ego question and it goes against all of the intuitive eating stuff. But is it a reasonable conclusion that I will lose weight at some point?
Yes, they said, as long as you stay in that passion that you are with this.
Okay. And another question I had is like I said, I'm very enthusiastic, and remember at the beginning of your spirituality, did you go through the phase where you wanted to tell everybody about everything? That's how I'm going to be obnoxious. You need to try intuitive eating, but I do wonder, because the internet says it's for everyone, but you're already saying I couldn't do that. I couldn't just go and just eat. Maybe one day you could, but you're not there yet. But I'm wondering about what kind of influence I might have on specifically my daughter, because I see her falling into the pressures to be thin like her peers and stuff. And I can't push this on her, but will I set a role through example?
Oh, 100%. Yes. 100%.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
That hurts me. That hurts me to see her, looking at herself in the mirror and sucking in her tummy. I feel bad for her to fall into the same traps that we did, So I'm glad to hear that I'll rub off on her a little.
Oh, definitely, because what they're saying is what's not end up happening, but it's the end, but it isn't the end, is you're going to be showing her how to eat and snack and be free and not you're going to get to a place where you're not expanding. You're just here, and you're confident.
Okay.
You know how we've all met these people who are real cocky and they say they're real confident, and they're not confident, because when
You
you're
know,
real
it's a show. Yeah.
yeah, it's not confidence. It's fear, all
Yes.
wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when people are confident, it just oozes out, and you just nothing but love just oozes out when you have confidence within you. It's You don't go around saying I got a Louis Vuitton, or I got this car, or I went here. You just don't go and do that, and you don't need all these extravagant jewels and stuff because you're confident within.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying people who wear those things aren't confident, but it's just you don't need those if you don't have the wallet to accommodate those.
Right. That's next on the manifesting list.
Well, they're saying it's all in the same. It's all one and the same. It's all one and the same. And yeah, and they're saying that's why sometimes your healing business doesn't take off like it could. Is because it's a confidence thing. It's almost like, yeah, you do good work in this, but there's a little block in there. Carrie's not a good girl. Carrie didn't do this right, or that shit we do.
And the conscious version of that is that I am not able, I love that you can do that. You can say, oh, you got a little blockage on this chakra and you're working on this one. Sometimes I feel like because I can't provide that information, that makes me less than. I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress, but I personally feel like you don't need to know that stuff to get the healing. But I put this
you don't have
condition on myself. I know, yeah.
You don't, and I'll tell you, because there was a part of me that I had to go through a very big healing on, and I just don't feel like elaborating on it here, but and I have no memory of it at all, none.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that didn't mean I couldn't heal from it.
Exactly. Yes. A lot of my healing just felt like random crying. I don't know what I was healing from, but there was something going on.
Yeah. But with your healings, you don't have to tell people, and especially at the price you charge. So, and it's like, whatever it is that you feel in there, I don't know. I just don't think you need, I know what I felt. And
yeah, you know what, most of my clients do a little self-bragging, is that I think that most of the people that are drawn to me have been on the journey enough to where they can get something out of it. They have their own validation. They feel a little bit of tingle, or they have, a vision or whatever it is. So I don't need to tell them what happened to them because they had their own experience in one way or another.
I get swirls. You just swirl.
I know that feeling. Yeah. It feels good.
Yeah, you just swirl. The energy just swirls. And I love it because I just feel like everything's being...
It's like a drug. I'm your drug. I'm going to get you hooked, man. An external control over you. You need your fix.
That would be nice. But I love this, though, this rewiring and stuff about... It's like... And they're telling me it's so hard for a lot of us to comprehend because we're so brainwashed.
Do you imagine how scary it is to just know, okay, you're going to get fat. You're going to do this diet and you are going to get fat. After a year and a half of dieting, 46 pounds down. And then they're saying, okay, throw it all away and eat everything because you're going to get fat. And maybe you'll lose weight, maybe you won't. That was a scary surrender. I'm not even sure if that was the surrender, because each of these little journeys, you have to let go of some kind of control. So I think that was it, being okay with not fitting into that conformed version of thin. I can be chubby and still be sexy and cute and lovable. And if you don't like it, then go away. I'm worthy.
I used to work with this young lady. I mean, she's like almost 6 foot, more heels, and she was probably a good 80 pounds overweight, but she was very sexy looking, and she dressed she always looked cute in everything she wore. I didn't see her as this big girl or anything like that, but she didn't wear black on black. She wore nice pretty she just, and she held
Does she wear
herself.
yellow? See, I would be very proud to represent sexy chubby girls. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I would represent. And I'm old too.
Oh shit! You're not girl.
Not as old as you, but I got the same fear too, especially with those twins being so young. I always feel pressure that I'm not only am I not thin enough, but I'm not young enough. So I have to get rid of both of those. Yeah.
Well, you just don't allow yourself. I don't know, but they are saying though, one of the things though with all of this is it's like when you're feeding, you're rewiring and everything. You also have to incorporate in there taking time out for you.
Good
Just
idea.
you. Yes. And it's like you have that bike. Do you still have your bike?
I do. It's almost ready to ride, the weather.
So, and do that, or you can go walk or something, and just use that time for you. You can, on your phone, you could find a good podcast to listen to of something you wanted to, but that is just for you.
I need some more just for me time.
And that's not for weight loss or anything. And I like that they're saying this because I go walk every morning, Monday through Friday. I get up, my alarm goes off at 5, but I usually out the door by 5:20, and I go walk my 3 miles. And I don't do it for weight. I do it for health, to keep. And when I say health, for emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, because I connect with Source. And that's my time, because nobody out there is helping me do. That's just for me.
I do something similar, but I don't exercise. I like yours better because I drive around the fancy neighborhood down the street and get super stoned and listen to music. That's my me time, but there's no exercise going on. I know that's not why you're doing it, but I would like to switch that up to have some movement in my life too. Find something that I like.
And to connect, just to connect with yourself, and have a conversation with just you without all this other stuff going on, and
that's a good point.
And it's, and like I said, I don't do it for the weight thing, because technically I really haven't lost anything, and I've been walking for a while, and, but like I said, I don't do it for the weight. I do it for
your peace. Sarah's a good walker too. She walks every morning too on her.
I love it. It's like when I go to bed at night, I always say, I can't wait for the morning where I can go walk and then go have my coffee.
Really? See, I need to rewire so that I have that thought. I want to love to go walk or something.
I don't love it yet. I didn't start out that way.
How did you rewire? What would you do?
Because I saw somebody who always was a lot larger than me. And then all of a sudden she wasn't that big, and she had the same name as me, and she wasn't. And what she did was, I said, how'd you do it? She goes, I walk 2 miles a day and cut the carbs. And every day. Well, I'm not going to cut all the carbs, and so because I can't go into that counting shit.
No.
And
math.
So I just started walking 2 miles a day, and this was back in November. And since November, I have walked a minimum of 2 miles. But then when I started doing 2 miles, I was like, I could do another mile. So I do a minimum of 3 miles. Some mornings I may only do 2.5 because Mondays are kind of rough. But I just.
How long does it take you to walk that? How long is that walk?
If I'm listening to a good podcast, I do a mile in 17 minutes and 22 seconds. If I'm listening to,
17 is my number, 22 is Sarah's number. That's perfect.
and you got yellow on.
That's right.
And then if I decide to, I love to listen to Joel Osteen. I love what he has to say.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I do, and I love it. And he's 28 minutes long. And so then And if I don't, or if I, if I listen to that, it's like almost 16 minutes. When I listen to my music, I can get it down to 15 minutes. So 3 miles I walk in like, it's almost an hour. Now, when the weather gets cooler, I walk a little faster because it's cold and I want to warm up.
I didn't know it took that quickly to walk that far. Look how clueless I am. I would think 1 mile would take 1 hour. That's just my brain. I don't know.
No, in 1 hour. And if I, when it gets cooler, I notice I walk faster. So when you walk out and you get hit upside the face with this humidity in your feet,
you're ready to go right back inside.
It's hard to do, but I just walk and get good walking shoes. But then I started like, oh my God, I feel good, and so now I look forward to it on the weekends. I even like to walk 6 miles, and I'd like to see how far I can go, because I think it's amazing how our feet move, and it's almost like automatic.
Just like breathing, huh?
Yeah, it's like our brain, our head up here is telling our feet to move next. And I just think it's kind of fascinating how it just does that. And so I really like to show appreciation, being able to have feet that move still.
Oh, so you walk because you have a gratitude for your feet.
I do. I'm real appreciative of them.
Oh, that is so good. Okay, I'm going to try to practice that a little bit.
Yeah, and now I just like, I can't, it's like, that's what I think. I always will tell them, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. I can go walking and go have coffee.
See, something like that's going to give. I'm inspired. You have inspired me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to ask one more ego-based question, and then I'm going to set you free. Okay, so again, I know we're not supposed to ask whens. That's what?
But they say quit judging what kind of questions you ask. Because like somebody said that's ego-based.
Okay, well.
But this is your show, so it should be about you.
That's true. Well, I mean, but I guess I say that because we're supposed to in theory, to let things happen on its own and not rush it. Win. But I am kind of wondering if they have a ballpark time in my current timeline until I start to rewire. And
they said 6 months. They said 6 months before you even asked. They said 6 months.
I'm so grateful for that information. And the reason that I'm reluctant to ask those kinds of questions is because it was a long, hard journey to get me to let go of expectations and listen to messages from external sources. So even though I hear them and I'm believing them, I also just can't help. I've been rewired to know that things can change. So I'm going to leave a little bit of wiggle room in there.
Yeah, and this is huge, though, for you, though, to get you to this part to where you just said, F it, I don't care what other people think.
Yes, I'm done. Even my fairy boy, my sexy bitch, I feel like I'm still shy, but at the same time, I'm not going to get on a scale for him or anybody else. I'm done trying to impress other people. Not that he would care because he's not there, but.
And they're saying, go back and research why the scales were invented, for us to weigh ourselves.
Maybe so the doctors can get money so that we could pay them to teach us how to be healthy. I don't know.
And it's like I met someone a while back who she was 5'2" and weighed 150 pounds. And they would say she's overweight. She wasn't overweight. She was nothing but full on muscle.
A couple of years ago, that's about what I was. When I lost my 46, I was about 150. I was not muscle, but I was cute and curvy. I was adorable. Suck it, haters. That's just.
And they're saying, and you based your cute and curvy based on the number on the scale. Because your cuteness and your curviness comes from within.
Okay.
And that's why we go get facelifts and injections. No, I'm not saying you doing this, but people in general
not yet.
And get this done because this is what we think makes us cute. That's why, we go and get all this stuff. And I'm guilty of having some plastic surgery, and then I had to go back years later and have it removed. And and then have to kind of fix what they did not, and stuff.
Yeah.
But, and so they're saying, just nurture and fun and play and enjoy what you have. Because they said, you picked this prior to coming here. You picked all of this.
Yes, I get that too. And I was trying to describe in my last video that I was not born into like a Victoria's Secret runway model. I wasn't meant to have confidence and walk along that catwalk. I am this round, chubby little cutie pie for a reason. And this is one of my reasons to, whatever, shed all the crap, but also heal from it and teach about it. So there's a reason I am the way I am. And I'm going to embrace that rather than hate it or be ashamed of it. I'm going to find a way to make it work for me.
And they're saying those Victoria's Secret models, they're all real young.
That's another thing, right? I can't put myself into that box. I don't belong there. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's all these conditions and stuff. And they're saying it's so unhealthy for our body, because our body, all of our organs, all of everything inside of us, even from our teeth, are meant to have these foods in our stuff. And like they even told me a long time ago, because my stuff with teeth, that our teeth, when we're eating this food and stuff, our teeth are getting all that yumminess too. They need those nutrients and everything.
Interesting.
It's not just our insides. It starts from our teeth when we're chewing it. And it's like, it's all connected. And we weren't taught that.
No, not at all. There's when you were a kid, you didn't put together that nutrition had anything to do with mood or anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Denise, I've kept you a long time. I want to wrap this up, but
this is exciting.
Well, how I want to wrap this up with is just reminding you that it's on you to pick the date that we're going to go eat.
I know.
Talking about food, we're going to go feed. But I know that you're a busy girl. So
where you can go in and eat and just not.
Let's go to a restaurant. Let my husband treat us to a lunch, because you saved him a lot of money with that phone. So we're owing you. You can afford it. All right. So I love you so much, but really think about that date, because you're the one.
Okay.
I'll just have to show up one day if you don't figure it out. I'll bring Sarah with me.
Okay.
Okay. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for this. Too. And I can't wait to see you. And I'm so grateful to have you help me with my journey. You're such a special friend to me. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Okay. It's always a joy.
I'll talk to you later, girlfriend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.